part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Run, William, run! He's got blockers in front. 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score! Kick blocked! They blocked the kick!
Oh, Tyvis. What a win. What a weird ass, ugly, strange win. And shockingly enough, this is another week where the football gods have been in our favor because we don't get calls ever like that.
Well, it's evident that the Browns players are living right. I mean, I tweeted it
Get
out
that
after
good
the
karma.
game. I mean, I don't know what's going on. They must be going to church. I know they can't because it's on Sunday, but Saturday, at the whole team. So if you don't know, Holly, on Saturday nights, they always bring in a chaplain. That whole 53 plus the 10 or 11 people from practice squad must be attending this chaplain, and they must be having like a tithe offering and a praise and worship moment going on because I usually it goes left for the Browns, but it's been going right. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row that there's been some questionable calls that's went the Browns' way. And listen, I'm not mad at it. That's how the NFL is. You can either be on the good side or the bad side. And dang it, since '99 we've been on the bad side. It's about time that we finally get some calls. That's just the nature of the game. We could easily be 2-4, but listen, I'm not gonna complain that we 4-2. Yes, was it perfect? Absolutely not. That's a bunch of things that they need to clean up. There's a lot of questions and comments and concerns that is going into this week, and the trade deadline is 8 days away as we record on a Monday. So yeah, they need to address some things. But listen, be happy that you 4-2, man, because you could easily be 2-4, and we'd be talking about fire everybody, blow everything up. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have been on the other end of those calls, so I certainly don't feel bad either about it. And you know, I think what's at least the one bright light in all of this is that they are scrapping to make these games in their favor, you know, and I think that we have not seen that fight, especially, I mean, if ever, for at least for the last couple years, since before we were, well, I guess in 2020. So in that sense, it's refreshing. I mean, and, you know, the defense certainly had their downs in the beginning of the game, but my God, they came back and they did, but they came back. Myles Garrett is not human. I mean,
no
man is not human. He said that they were working on. He had been doing that in. They had done that in practice, and he knew that the Colts were, after watching some film, were slow to rise, and so he thought he'd go ahead and try it, and then they of course got on. But
yeah, I seen, you know, when I played, I think it was in Seattle, I got to see Cam Chancellor had did it, but he had did it like the year before I got there. I think he did it against Carolina, and he ended up I don't think he blocked it, but he made the kicker miss it. And when I was there, I can't remember. I think it might have been. I think I want to say it was Bobby Wagner that jumped there. He jumped over the thing and he like blocked it. So I don't know why more people don't do that. I guess the only way you can do it is if you got to look at the center. And for them, they saw that he keeps his head. He snaps it and he never rises up. So people start jumping over the center, which is perfectly legal. You can't cover them now. That's the biggest mistake people make. If you cover the center, they're gonna flag you every time. So you gotta like start over like the guard and then like take one step and jump over it. And man, he cleared the dude. And the worst part about it is Denzel, the fastest dude on the team, and boy, I was looking at him like that is a shame. You got a chance to really get a touchdown, a scoop and score touchdown. You get caught by a tight end. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, look, it was certainly a race to the end, and they did get it done. And yeah, again, we'll thank the refs. But one thing that, and it's the biggest thing, is the state of our quarterback. And I
Oh, yes.
I don't know. Tyvis, I feel like it feels very clunky. It feels very obviously unorganized. I feel like we don't have all the information. It doesn't feel like Deshaun and the organization are on the same page. I mean, even on, was it today that or yesterday that Deshaun said or Stefanski said that Deshaun is playing against Seattle, and then Deshaun's like, I don't know. Like and I feel like this is such a pivotal. What do I say pivotal for? That's not even a word. Pivotal moment with this team because here's the thing. I'm so sick of just planning for the future and what ifs. I'm so over the what ifs and I want to win right now. And right now, I don't want to waste this defense. So I don't care what they have to do. And if they have to put Deshaun on the IR, and what is that? That's guaranteed 4 weeks he's out, right? Had we done this a couple weeks ago, we would have probably been in a better state. But the fact of the matter is that we have no real idea where to go from there with him right now. And if they do the day-to-day thing, if they keep doing that, it's gonna be a disaster. I feel like they have to make a decision on him in one way or the other, because if he can't play, and if he went out there on Sunday and he shouldn't have went out there, or if there was still gonna be a question, then they did not prepare enough with PJ. Like and PJ is not the answer, right? He's just not. Like we have gotten so fucking lucky in these last 2 weeks, and there's no way that he's gonna be able to be our starting QB because he's not a starting QB, and he's even said that he needs time to prepare. He needs to get the reps, and he's not getting that with the day-to-day type of status. So I am all for going to get somebody because I refuse to waste this year again, especially when I want to win now, and we have a chance to win now. We just need a comparable quarterback to get us through, and if they put him on IR for 4 weeks, I don't care. We got to do something. I want to win right now. How's that?
Okay, that's a lot. I don't disagree with nothing that you said. When I think about it, I mean, yeah, I think he went to go get an MRI today, and if he's got micro tears in his shoulder, there's no way that he's ever going to be 100%. And the more that you continue to do that, the more you keep lifting your shoulder and throwing the football, obviously you're going to continue to tear it more. So you're never going to be good. If you rest it for 4 weeks, yeah, you can assess it after the 4 weeks. But if it's tore like that, then you might need surgery. So you might need to expedite the surgery, blah, 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 blah. So I say all that to say, this team, listen, this organization has shown us that, they're all in on everything this season. I mean, the kicker was a problem. They went out and got a kicker. The defense was a problem. They went out and got a defensive coordinator, defensive line, all of those things. Got a safety. They did everything. And when I look at this situation, you can't be no different. Listen, your job, yeah, we're 4-2, but if this thing turned upside down, jobs are still on the line here. It's not like you in the playoffs. This playoffs are nothing this season for them. So if I'm them, I'm definitely going to go look for somebody. Obviously the hot name is Jacoby Brissett because he's the guy he's him and maybe Kirk Cousins is the only, really more so Jacoby Brissett is the only guy that you could bring in and boom, he could play right now because he knows it, blah, 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 blah. Y'all worked with each other last year. He probably remembers it.
And we can get him prorated right now, Tyvis. So we might, why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, and you got a free 5th-round pick for Dobbs. Take that 5th-round pick, offer it to the Commanders. Now, I tell you what, if I'm the Commanders, I'm not trading him because Sam Howell leads the league in sacks with 40 of them, and he's looking to shatter the NFL record with most sacks. And obviously, if you keep taking that type of beat, and on top of that, Sam Howell looked terrible yesterday against the Giants. So I don't know if they'd be willing to draft or trade him away because they might need him in the future. Another guy that came up was Jameis Winston. Listen, Jameis Winston, he played better ever since he got that LASIK surgery. Obviously, he turns the ball over, but he does throw touchdowns. But the big fish, obviously, that everybody's thinking about is Kirk Cousins. And, obviously, Stefanski's worked with Kirk Cousins when he was in Minnesota. Obviously, you'll take a huge cap hit, but listen, y'all already playing. Y'all in cap Y'all in cap crazy.
Right.
Y'all went cap crazy
Yeah.
anyways. I mean, that bill is coming in the next 2 or 3 years
Sure is.
anyway. You only gonna have him for a year. You only having Kirk Cousins for this year because I think his contract is up. If I don't know what you have to give up, but everybody wants to say we need to keep these draft picks, but it's not like the Browns
Yeah, I
draft
know. Well, that's
well
what I'm
like
saying.
that.
We're
That's the
holding out
thing.
and
Like
trying to play it safe, but for what? It hasn't worked out for us. I mean,
I could have, I would say in the last 8 years or so, I could think of three
right.
good picks they've had: Miles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Nick Chubb. That's it.
Yeah.
That's really it. Outside of those, oh, and Martin Emerson, excuse me. But outside of them, like y'all really missing with y'all draft picks. So, listen, the Rams did it. They pitched their whole team away, and for some odd reason, they still decently good. So. Hey, listen, I would go all in on this thing. This is as close as y'all have been to having a solid performance. The PJ Walker thing is gonna catch up. Like, for example,
Right. Oh
this
God.
upcoming week against Seattle, you asking PJ Walker to go in Seattle and win. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
we're gonna lose. I'm just telling you, right? As a former Seahawk, I'm telling you right now. The way that defense is playing and playing in Seattle is
Yeah.
it's hard. That 12th man thing is real. You can't hear nothing. It's scary out there. I'm telling you. So if you asking PJ Walker to go in Seattle and win, you're sadly mistaking yourself. And on top of that, your running back is down. I don't even know if he's out or what
Mm-hmm.
his situation is. He got knocked out of the game, so now you got Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt. So it's not. You go get you a quarterback. Trust me. Just go
Right.
get you
Yeah.
one.
There's no way, and it's not even fair at all to ask PJ Walker of that. It's not. I mean, it's he is. I don't know why. I guess I find it really interesting that the Browns, when they traded Dobbs away, I was not in voting of that by any means. And again, I don't think that Dobbs is going to be this amazing, but I guess next best thing. But I think despite, I mean, what scares me is they had DTR as the number one backup going off of some fun, unmeaningful preseason games. And again, it wasn't fair to
That's
him
not
either what
fair.
they did. I just feel like of all
Yeah,
the
that's
prep
not
that they
fair.
did for the season, it did. I mean, I'm like, wait a second, how did you not really prepare? Like, for me, that's something that I'm willing to shell out all the money for. Even if he sits on the bench, I'd rather have a really great backup, and that's where I want to put money towards. And I just feel like of all the positions that the Browns tried to fix this year and everything, and backfill and stuff, like depth has always been a big issue for us, and especially in the quarterback position, and with the money and the investment in Deshaun, that behind him they would have at the very least invested more and not traded away our second Dobbs for that. I mean, who's at least a million times better than DTR and PJ Walker. I just don't. I mean, for what? It's not like we saved a bunch of money, anyways. I mean, so that's where I really get pissed
Well,
about the organization and those types of decisions, because I'm like, how did it just kind of like go over everyone's heads? I'm like, Deshaun could get hurt anytime, and he did. So it's just,
well, I think it's one of those situations where you don't think about that because you seen DTR in the preseason and he looked good. I mean, he went through his reads, he was really good, man. And I'm not willing to go out like everybody else and say he's just terrible. Like that, it wasn't fair for him to know that you're about to
right.
start 2.5 hours early. And you think you about to just go out there? You ain't prepared correctly. You ain't got the chemistry with nobody. They kind of did you a disservice.
They
They
did.
threw you to the wolves, gave you a whole playbook that you don't even know the whole playbook like that. So it really wasn't fair. He needs another
But
opportunity out there. If Cleveland Browns is listening to this, he definitely needs another opportunity out there because what y'all did to him is
well,
flat out wrong and disrespectful for him. But let me finish. Go back to the quarterback situation. Listen, the Browns mishandle a lot of things. You think about they had the highest paid backup in Case Keenum and didn't use him, and then on top of that, you had Jacoby Brissett come in the following year or 2 years later. He does well, and now you don't want to pay him. So the Browns have not done really well with the backup quarterback role, and I mean, how often does a quarterback really get injured? Like especially with all the rules today, it's not something that you think about. So you think you got to take some type of risk at
That's not
some
what I'm
point.
saying.
Now, was the risk worth it? Was a fifth round pick worth it? Absolutely not at all. But now you have no choice but to right that wrong, and it might cost you a little bit more because you made a move that you didn't
Yeah.
think you was gonna
I
need.
mean, I what I was going to ask you is let's just say Deshaun's played in every game. He's been playing well. He gets hurt this game. DTR's the number one backup. Are you trusting him to go into
Hmm.
Seattle and win?
I'm
That's what
not
I'm okay.
trusting no
So I
backup
guess like it
quarterback.
still doesn't. He does need more, but he needs more. He needs more reps. He needs more experience. But
Let me
for the
ask you.
Browns,
Well,
and
let me
that's
ask.
that was their mindset, right? That he was number
Well,
two.
well, wait a minute. Let me ask you this question: is Nick Chubb still playing when in
No,
this scenario? Oh, what didn't see? How would you know that going into the season? Who would have thought that Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson would both get hurt? Like that's not
all
something
right.
that
Another
you think
question
about.
for you: How much is it the injury with Watson versus him just not playing well at all and not being what we think he is?
Okay, so that you talking about from this last game? All right, so he threw 5 passes. Okay, now is it fair to judge him off of
Well, no.
five
So
passes?
wait, before you
No,
finish, let
but
me read you
people.
this, okay? And then I want you to finish your thought. Out of last 10 games, he was 165 for 277, which is at 59.6%. Little over 1,900 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 82% passer rating. He is 30th in passer rating among quarterbacks who have started one game. So he's worse than Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, and Dobbs. He barely clears Jordan Love. Now, continue. Is it the injury or is it
I
Deshaun?
forgot what was. Okay, so yeah. Obviously, what you just said has nothing to do with the injury. That has nothing to do with it. He was not. Listen, outside of one game, our quarterback play from any quarterback this season
Right.
has not been great. Outside of Tennessee, the quarterback play has been atrocious. That's just what it is. Um, Injury wise, the only thing that you could go off of is his last performance. He was really good. Um, but when I look at those 5 passes, if I got to judge him off of 5 passes, obviously it didn't look good at all. I thought his timing was off with his players. I thought he did not have, I thought it completely showed that he wasn't healthy. How do I know that? Because he tried to throw a deep ball to Marquise Goodwin. Even though him and Marquise Goodwin has never been on the same page and he's underthrown him, this was a terrible underthrow. So it's like I didn't think he had the arm strength to get it out there. On top of that, knowing that my arm is not great, I wouldn't be messing with Marquise anyway. You can't hit Marquise when you're 100% healthy. How you think you gonna do it
Yeah.
when you like 85%? So that was a mistake to begin with. I thought his decision making wasn't great. I just thought he was out of rhythm. Like, he looked like he did after sitting for 2 years. That's what he looked like in those five passes. Now, would it have gotten better? I don't know. Obviously, the more reps you get, the better you get. So I don't know how he would have finished that game. But I clearly think that right now the best thing for the Cleveland Brown is to find somebody to figure it out because like I say, 4-2, you still right there. You sitting in like what sixth place in the AFC or something like that right now. So everything you want is still there, despite the fact your quarterback is hurt, despite the fact that your running back is hurt, despite the fact that your right tackle is gone. Those three things is detrimental to a team, but somehow, some way, y'all find a way to win. And the one thing that I respect the most about this Cleveland Browns team is because right now, for the past 2 weeks, they have had the I
Mm-hmm.
refuse to lose. I don't care what we got to do. We got to figure something out, but we not losing this game. And that is a championship mentality. All you got 2 units going. It's 3 units on the total team: offense, defense, and special teams. 2 of the 3 is balling at a high clip
Mm-hmm.
right now. You need that offense, and I'm not saying that the quarterback got to come in there and be Patrick Mahomes or something
No.
like that. If he takes care of the football and maybe throw a couple touchdowns like that, that's all I really need you to do. Just get some first downs or something like that. You got some guys that's getting open. And I don't know. And side note to my rant. What is the deal with PJ Walker and Elijah Moore? I tell you what, if you ask Elijah Moore who he want his starting
His
quarterback to
big
be,
show.
he gonna say PJ Walker.
Chemistry is chemistry. You know?
I don't know why did Elijah Moore go from a ghost, but with number 10 at quarterback, he be looking for him. I like my lord.
I know.
DPJ.
DPJ.
Listen, game on the line.
We were just talking about him last
You
week.
never
Yeah.
thought you hear Elijah Moore and DPJ. I was like, man.
And I don't know what that says about Elijah Moore and DPJ, but doesn't make it sound very good. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I it has reading those stats it's pretty eye opening, and I don't want to. My fear is that we are still wearing these rose colored glasses here with him, and not really seeing. From an outsider looking in of what's going on. And I know that when you listen to national media and you look and other people that are like Deshaun, worst trade since Herschel Walker and all this stuff. Like there's all of this talk, and I can only imagine the pressure that's on him. So I want to think too that a lot of it, or not a lot of it, but maybe a decent part of what's going on with him is also maybe mental. So I'm sure that there's obvious. A lot there, but like at the same time, like this is a quarterback. You and I can argue about who is the most important position out of the left tackle, but
left tackle. Why is our right tackle hurt? Why is Deshaun hurt? Who did it? Who messed up their assignment? Left tackle. Thank you very much. Very important. Why did DTR look terrible? Our left tackle looked horrible
left tackle.
That day. Just saying.
But I this isn't. It's as much as it is the quarterback's team, right? It should be Deshaun Watson's team, and it should be his things built around him. Like it has to be team first right now. It has to be, and Deshaun second. And what's best for the team, and what's best for Deshaun. What's best for the team is.
Well, I mean, that's what he said. That's what he said in this. I'm not going to do anything to hurt this team. So listen, and another thing, that boy need to. He got to put the phone down. if it's a mental thing with him, he got to put the phone down and stop reading stuff. Because to be honest with you, everybody in that building messes with him. Rocks with him, got his back through thick and thin. Obviously, they've done it from the stuff that happened off the field. They've had his back through thick and thin. So for him to sit there and not believe in himself or think his teammates believe in him, that's completely asinine because they have not shown anything but support for this man. And if he is mentally messed up, it's because he's reading something or hearing something from an outside source because everybody in that building is committed to him. I mean, people's jobs is on the line, is dependent on this man. So they got no choice but to be dependent on him. So he, like, come on now. I ain't the phone. Put the phone down. Just put the phone. Do what a lot of people just mute the stuff or whatever you need to do. But you don't need to pay attention to none of that because the people that matter the most is your coach and your teammates, and you got the highest respect from both of those two units.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you have to be able to shut out the outside noise, and you have to be able to, especially in his position and what he's making. I mean, that's when it comes down to it, we always say it's a business. This is a business. Business decisions, feelings are going to get hurt. It doesn't matter. Like, and I would assume and hope that Deshaun would want whatever is best for the team too. I mean, this is the team. It's a team sport. He should be able to have to step aside or whatever. And I want, I worry, Stefanski really getting in there and saying, I'm the head coach, I'm making these decisions, and you're sitting, I think he pulled him out of the game, I thought, and did not put him back in, and I think that was probably partially to save him from any embarrassment, but also because he deserved it. He didn't deserve to be out there playing like shit, and Stefanski had to do what he had to do to win the game.
You knew why he wanted to go out there. He just watched his team win against San Francisco, and it hurt. He missed it. I'm telling you.
I'm sure it did, but it doesn't.
He's like, man, this team is good. I need
who does that help or service? Putting him out there like that, not him, not the team.
It still give you a spark. It give you a spark now. Don't do that. Like from an offensive standpoint, you see number 4 under the helm. Like you like, oh yeah, we about to roll. So don't act like that. He don't have a little bit of
I'm sure that he does.
I
don't want to take that, but it's at the end of the day, like it's also being honest about the situation and everything, and not. That's what I mean. I feel I don't want to get kind of lost in the sauce here. I don't want to put my rose-colored glasses on and just say that, like, yeah, like, we're still waiting for him to kind of, like, make it happen, you know? And, like, now he gets hurt, and it's like, Jesus. And I don't know. Everyone's got to be honest with themselves here. And that's him, that's the Browns, that's everyone.
For him right now, he has to do what he's going through what every athlete goes through. He has to find out the difference between pain and injury, because it's a huge difference. If it's a little bit of pain, like, everybody has pain, but injury means that I'm incapable of doing what I need to do. And if you're incapable of doing what you got to do, then you need to sit down. But if it's some pain, like, I can throw the ball out there. It hurt, but I can get it out there. Okay, then rock with it. And I think for him, that's where he was at mentally. Like, yeah, it hurt. It's going to hurt me to throw it, but I can do it. And I think when he got out there and he's seeing, like, okay, Holly, the NFL speed is unbelievably fast, okay? So you can't be late on anything, because the windows open and close like that. So if you hurt and you second guessing it, and you got to, you tighten up like, you late on a lot of things. So you can't think, you got to be out there, you can't be out there thinking about the injury. Like, you got to be able to play free-minded. Like, I see it, I'm letting it fly. I ain't thinking about nothing. And I think for him, he still has it in his mind. Like, it hurt. Like, it's going to hurt. Like, all right, if you get thinking that, then you need to sit down to the sideline. And I think that's what happened. I think over those 5 throws, they was like, yeah, he feeling it for sure. Like, we need to go on, come on, sit next to me, put your beanie back on. You too early.
I want that preparation and all of that, Tyvis. Like, we're just not in a position right now to just, like, let's just see if he's got it this week. Like, I'd rather just know, and I'd rather, like, just be more prepared. And this day-to-day stuff is just, clearly it's not cutting it. We've gotten so lucky these last 2 weeks. Like, that mentality or that game plan or that recovery plan is crap. And
yeah, it's just frustrating for Browns fans, because it's like, you want to believe in this guy. You know what he was, and the only thing we can go off of, he's played six games, 11 games for the Browns, and we only seen him look good once. So it's like, you still in hope, like, man, I don't want the Browns to have given up all of this and paid all this money, and the guy's not good, so everybody holding out that hope. But it's like, every time he goes out there, it's like the reality is setting in, like, okay, maybe he might not get back to that guy. You know, but can he at least be serviceable? Like at this stage, he don't need to be Patty Mahomes. I would love for him to be Patty Mahomes, but at this stage, he doesn't necessarily need to be Patty Mahomes. He just needs to be serviceable. He just needs to not lose a game.
Yeah. Well, Browns obviously have a big matchup coming up next week as they head to the West Coast, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
All right, we are back on the Orange is Oranger. I'm Holly, he's Tyvis, and we are talking through just one of the ugliest wins I think we've ever seen for the Browns. But Tyvis teased a little bit about the Browns heading to the West Coast and going into Seattle, and just how difficult it is really going to be for them. So Tyvis, talk to me in a little bit more in depth about what that atmosphere is like. What do you think the Browns are going to struggle with more than anything? And what do you think that they're going to have to work on?
All right, so going to the West Coast, you know, it's never easy. You gain the 3 hours, but it's just different out there for some odd reason, And going into Seattle around this time, that sun might be down, and it might be even look like it's gonna rain. It's very, very depressing looking. I've spent 2 years out there, so I know what I'm talking about. But the 12s, the fans, that's what they call themselves, the 12s. Those they are legit. Like, when I tell you they got their teams back, you think they remind you of the dog pound back in the day. Like, they rowdy, they loud. Now, they ain't disrespectful, but they loud and they proud and they love they Seahawks. So a lot of communication that if you think you can talk to each other, that's not going to fly. You're going to have some hand signals for this game because it is extremely loud out there. I wouldn't be surprised if I see some delay of games or some false starts because that's just the atmosphere out there. As far as the Seahawks go as a team, I didn't think that they had a strong D-line, but those guys actually are doing well. Now that Jamal Adams is back on defense, they balling. Look, they got some corners. Like, that dude, they got that, what's his name? Witherspoon, Devin Witherspoon from Illinois, they first round pick. Dude legit, and he come up and he hit. That boy can tackle hard. Obviously, Tyreek Woolen on the other side. He was, I think he tied. He was either led the league in picks last year, or he was tied for first place. So he could get his hands on the ball. He was working through an injury, so he's still trying to get his feet up under him. But that defense is legit. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Geno Smith is not, like I said, he ain't one of the best, but they have surrounded him with some weapons. Like DK gonna try to punk you. Whoever's checking DK, I'm gonna let you know right now, he gonna try to punk. He gonna check your temperature, as the kids say. He gonna check your temperature and see the type of player that you are. And you gotta be you gotta be with it, because I'm telling you right now, if he smell blood in the water, he gonna be on you all day. So you gotta deal with him. Tyler Lockett, excuse me, y'all don't know him as Noe. Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is he's a veteran. He's fast. Obviously, he makes the big plays. And then I got to see JSN, go Bucks. JSN got his first touchdown, so he seemed to get things rolling. They got the 2 running backs, Ken Walker III from Michigan State, and they got Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. He was actually really physical. So they got some weapons, and they got enough talent to beat the Browns for sure. They got enough attitude to beat the Browns for sure. I mean,
and they got the ugly wins in their corner. They had an ugly win against Arizona last week, so they're another fellow ugly win team.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. You gotta go out. You gotta be sharp. Like, you can't give up anything in this game. Like, last game against the Colts, the offsides and the free plays that led to touchdowns and big plays. Like, you can't do that because you'll fall down and it's hard to come back in that stadium. I'm just telling you. So they got to be sharp, and it got to be somebody got to step up. Now that Jerome Ford is down, I don't know. I'm nervous because they gonna have a plan for Coop. Like, now don't get me wrong, Coop's still gonna get his because Coop is one of the best, and he's one of the best route runners, so he's gonna get open. But you ain't got a quarterback to get him the ball. Like, it's going to be hard. And I'm not even necessarily saying they got a great pass rush. They just have a good, solid defense. They tackle. They don't really give up big plays. So this is one of those ones that Kevin Stefanski really has to earn his check. And I think off of the Colts game, he called a really good game. I mean, which is crazy to hear people say, but he actually called a pretty solid game. And I think he's going to be tested in this Seahawks game because – you don't have. Usually, you can look at your roster and be like, "Oh, I got a mismatch right here. This guy's a mismatch. We're gonna go and attack this." Across the board, there ain't really a lot of mismatches. So I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I am very curious to see the game plan that he comes up with. Because don't get me wrong, they got some weaknesses. I haven't quite seen them, but they're there for sure. So Kevin Stefanski's going to have to figure it out. He's going to have to exploit it.
No, and I think that's a great point. He's going to have to earn this paycheck. I mean, this is a big week, and it's more about not even just his game plan, but just this whole week and managing this whole week of outside of depending on who the quarterback is. That is, they have to make a decision and stick to it for now, and move on. This iffy bullshit it can't. I'm over it. Everyone's over it. We're just not in a position to do that right now at all. We don't have the depth, at all. I mean, you just said, I don't know what's going to happen with Jerome Ford. I mean, Pierre, that's our answer? And PJ?
Well, whoa. Pierre Strong is decent now. Don't do that.
But to leave it, again, it's leaving it up to them. That's not fair.
Kareem and Pierre, he ain't that much different than Jerome Ford.
Pierre are going to be able to get the run game done in Seattle.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's Bobby Wagner, so, he's the 9-time All-Pro or 10-time All-Pro or whatever it is, so it's going to be hard to do that regardless. I don't care if Nick Chubb was in there. It'd still be difficult to do that with Bobby on the other side. Shout out B-Wags, by the way. Real good guy. But they got to figure it out. They got to figure something out. But you act like Jerome Ford is Nick Chubb or somebody.
No, but he's been stepping up.
He can do the same
and it's been enough. For the most part,
Pierre Strong
between the three of them to get it done to establish something.
Do you know Jerome? Do you know Pierre Strong was drafted before, or like a round before Jerome Ford was?
No, I didn't know.
Did you know that?
Who drafted him?
Yeah, he got drafted to the Patriots. The Patriots did, I think. He got drafted to the Patriots in the 4th, and I think the Browns took Jerome Ford in the 5th. So, with that being said. He had the boy came into this year averaging like just under 10 yards a carry, which is asinine to me that he does that. But I like Pierre Strong. Like
I don't say it in like him, but again, it's not fair.
Oh well, you're talking about.
Well, you're gonna leave the run game up to those two in Seattle? Hell no.
You telling me Jerome Ford, Kareem
but
Hunt
it was another at least between the three of them they could share the carries.
Yeah. They got 2 of them that can share. It ain't like Pierre Strong been getting carries. He just got carries last game because Jerome Ford got hurt.
A lot more.
You know what? I think we're going to be like, where have he been? I'm telling you, I like that.
You're crazy.
Listen, as God is my way, we're going to come on this podcast next week, and you're going to be like, Tyvis, you was on this. You was right about Pierre Strong. I'm just telling you.
You didn't even know his last name 3 weeks ago. You were calling him Pierre Armstrong.
Why are you bringing up the past? What you talking about is irrelevant right now. I got faith in him. You know what? I'm about to pick him up in fantasy. How about that? I'm about to pick up.
Why don't you make a bet on DraftKings? Well, you can't, but on another sport.
No, I can't. I cannot.
I will. I will make
it.
You want me to make a bet?
My job.
On your behalf?
What you betting? Hold on. Let me look on DraftKings. Let me see what the over under is for his yardage. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, they don't have the props up yet. They don't have.
Well, the Browns are definitely an underdog going in. What, 2.5? I think. So what's your prediction?
No, we -3. I mean, we +3. What's my prediction on the game? The Browns win 12-7. Dustin Hopkins kicks 4 field goals to win the game.
Why would you say that?
Well, 12-7. Dustin Hopkins 4
Dustin
field
Hopkins?
goals.
Man,
I know.
he's about to be special teams player of the week.
Talk about my boy can't hit over 50 yards. That boy is money.
Again, the Browns have done what they needed to do so far this season to make adjustments. And this is such a pivotal... I can't say that word this week, and I don't know why. It's pivotal.
Because you just... Listen, hold on. Since we're giving out flowers, I got to take the time out to give these flowers because I never thought in a million years I'd say this. But when I like to give credit when credit's due. My boy Jared Wills have not been noticeable in about 3 weeks now. I don't know.
That's exactly what I want from him, to be unnoticeable on the field. Come on.
You want if you notice him, then you know it's a problem.
Off the team is what I would prefer.
No. He been playing good. He ain't gave
How many
up
weeks?
a sack
How many weeks
or
are we talking?
Oh, we 2
in a row.
We 2 weeks in. We 2 weeks in. Listen. He already got your quarterback and your right tackle hurt. So, listen, to have him playing solid like this, you got to give Jared Wills his flowers. Like, I don't know, he'd have had a come into Jesus. They'd have had a kumbaya moment with him.
He's not getting shit this week is what he's getting. That's what he gets, not flowers.
That's been, he getting this for the 2 weeks of solid play. Yeah, listen. How about this? Every week he play well, they win.
He better be saying extra prayers. That chaplain.
Listen, he playing well, they win. That's all I know. Browns 12-7. What you got, Holly? Pierre Strong about I give him about 60 yards rushing.
Okay. I think Seattle definitely takes this one from us. And I'll say 21-10.
Look at you. I can't believe you.
Oh, I'm a realist.
Let's
just see. Well, no, if PJ Walker's our quarterback going in there, absolutely. If by the time this is out, this podcast, and we got a different QB, that might change my prediction. But that's what I got.
12-7. Silence. I tell you what, if you want the Browns to win this game, you go out there and hit them in the mouth and go 14-0. The crowd will get dead.
That's been the Browns' MO. The last couple of years is we had to come out strong to have any fighting chance. We weren't the comeback team.
You know, it's a different day. These guys know how to win, and they keep fighting to the end. And the referees help out, so there we go.
All right, well, should be yet another interesting week with the Cleveland Browns. Head into Seattle. So West Coast, what time is the game? Is it at 4 o'clock?
4:05, man. God.
I hate those.
Oh. Please give Jason Gibbs, if you listen to this, please let me do it from Columbus. I would really appreciate it.
You should have never moved to Columbus.
Love to do this one.
Should have stayed here in Cleveland. We could have been recording this together, hanging out. You could have had me over for dinner.
You would eat.
Oh, hell yeah. What are you trying to say about her cooking on this podcast? It's being recorded, so you better.
Oh, it's delicious. Lauren's cooking is delicious.
You better say that.
Lauren has not made. She's never made a bad meal, to be honest with you.
I would I'd have you guys over. I'd probably have her over. Her and I would drink wine. Maybe you can make us cocktails because you're the cocktail master over there.
So it is fall, so she's back into the wine thing. She got the Cooper Hawks.
Yeah.
Cooper Hawks gave out these big bottles of wine. I don't know why they so big, but she got 2 of them, and it's just.
She might if she needs help drinking them.
Hey, I'll let her know.
All right, for Tyvis, I'm Holly. This is the Orange is Oranger Cleveland Browns podcast. Tyvis, take us out.
Go Browns, baby. 4-2. We to the Super Bowl, baby. It don't matter who at quarterback. It could be me. We still going to the Super Bowl.